Welcome back to Sportsbook Review Videos. There are a dozen games on the slate for you this evening, and I have plays on about 25% of those games, including two of them tonight here for my NBA picks of the day. We'll jump right into it here as the Minnesota Timberwolves playing host to the Atlanta Hawks tonight. Hawks coming off of a back-to-back, but a blowout win over the Boston Celtics last night. With Jeff Teague back, the Hawks outscored them 40-24 in the fourth quarter. Now they come in as a 3-point road favorite in Minnesota tonight. Total of 205.5. The Wolves have not been really allergic to giving up points this season, but their defense has actually started to look a lot better over their last few games. In fact, over their last two, Wolves giving up only about 95 points per game. If you stretch that out to the last four, only giving up about 96.5 as well. And the Hawks' defense has looked good and bad at times this season, but they're starting to trend towards the team that we were seeing last season on the defensive end. If that's the case, 205.5 is a very high total this evening and probably a really good play to go under this evening. Now, with the Hawks coming off the back-to-back, that might make their defense just a little bit worse. Still, though, I think they have the ability to match up pretty well with the Minnesota Timberwolves, despite the fact that Andrew Wiggins is playing really well. I think under 205.5 here is the play between the Hawks and the Wolves. Now, next up, the Battle of Texas tonight between the Dallas Mavericks and the San Antonio Spurs, where the Spurs come in as a big 9-point favorite with a total of 195.5. Now, the Dallas Mavericks, also played last night as well, and coming off of the back-to-back tonight after giving up 110 points per game to the Memphis Grizzlies last night, I think the Spurs will have no problem scoring on the Dallas Mavericks. However, at 9-6, both straight up and against the spread, the Mavs have been a lot better than expected this season. However, much like a team we've talked about here recently in my pick on the Sixers and the Celtics tonight, make sure you check that out. The Mavs defense has started to fall apart over their last two games, and if this defense and this team starts to fall apart and to regress back to the mean of what we thought they would be, now is an excellent chance to bet the over here, I think, at 195.5, despite the fact that the Spurs have been very good defensively this season, giving up about 91 points per game. The Dallas Mavericks have given up about 114 in their last two games, and they've given up 107 per game to their divisional opponents this season. So an overplay at 195.5 might be a really good speculative ad here, because I think the sportsbooks definitely overvaluing the Spurs defense a little bit, but definitely undervaluing the lack of defense that the Mavs have exhibited here over their last two games. Spurs can definitely get to the 110-point mark here in this one, especially coming off with the Mavs coming off of the back-to-back here. So I think all things considered this evening, over 195.5 looks to be a really good play here for the Mavs and the Spurs this evening. Add that to under 205 between the Wolves and the Hawks. Those are your NBA picks of the day. Best of luck to you on both of those. Make sure you check out my pick on the Celtics and the Sixers as well tonight. But until then, for Sportsbook Review, I'm Jordan Sharp.